guys, what's up? We are live and it is day 2 of the Fluent Pronunciation Challenge. I hope you guys had an amazing day 1. I hope you turned in the homework and you did the task. I have so much information for you today. I am going to just start by wishing myself luck getting all of this out because seriously, it's a lot. And it's also just the tip of the iceberg. I feel like my job during this challenge right now is I really just got to teach you everything as far as learning how to learn pronunciation, accent, mindset, all this stuff. I got to get it out of the way now because that is how you're going to have success on your journey moving forward. Whether you move forward with me and decide to join one of my courses or move forward on your own, you need this training. This is the foundation for everything. Okay, so without further ado, don't mind me. I am just going to get right into it because like I said, I have a lot to do. So the structure for today's training is, I'm going to welcome you guys. That's what I'm doing now. We are going to talk about the difficulty of the list that I sent you. I'm going to give you an introduction to all the feedback that I'm going to give. And then I'm going to start giving you guys the feedback, my observations, stuff like that. And then I'm going to demonstrate some of the word list for you. It's going to take me 3 days to get through the entire list. So we're going to do part 1 today. And the reason why I'm going to take 3 days is because you will see it is a lot of information. And I believe in, giving information in bite-sized chunks so you can process it, understand it, work on it. And then I'm going to give your homework, and your homework today is going to be so much easier than yesterday. Yesterday was crazy, right? You had to suddenly make a video on day 1, read all these words, sentences. Today, your homework is simply going to be to practice what we work on in this video. So I want you to spend your time watching this video, either live right now or the replay. And then when I start demonstrating the words, the sounds, all of that, I want you to focus on that. So even replay those parts of the videos, those parts or that part of the video, okay? So that you can really start training your ear, training your mouth, listening to my tips and advice again and again, because when you're confronted with so much information, especially if it's new like it is now, a lot of it's just going to go over your head. You're going to have to see a lot of what I'm teaching more than once to really internalize it, okay? So this is why one of my main strategies for teaching is exactly what we're doing here. I have students do a task and then I analyze, okay, as many videos as I can, or, as many tasks, homeworks as I can. And then I collect the feedback and I present it. So all right, I'm already starting to get out of order, so let me get back to my notes. So my first question for you guys, just before we really get into this, is did you do the task? Did you do it? Or were you scared? Were you too scared to do it? Okay, so you guys already know I'm gonna say this. If you were too scared, I highly recommend that you do it anyways, okay? Because you need this video. And you know what? If you're too scared to publish it here in the group, just make it anyways. Make it for yourself, okay? Because you need to see and know what your starting point is, especially after we do all the training, we work on all the sounds, okay? I want you to be able to compare your before and after so you can see your own progress. That is so important. So also, don't feel like you have to show your face in the video. There are plenty of people who got really creative. They showed a curtain, okay, or their computer screen or something if they didn't want to show their face. And that's perfectly fine because we're here to practice English and you need to do it in the way that is most comfortable to you. So if something has been holding you back, like you were too scared or you didn't want to show your face, all right, now you know. You don't have to be scared. You don't have to show your face. You can still make this video. You don't even have to post it in the Facebook group. I highly recommend that you do, but you don't have to. Just make it for yourself, okay, at this point. Okay, sorry, I have an itch on my nose. This always happens when I go live. So if you did the homework, good job, okay? I know for 99% of you, that was not an easy list. There were some parts that were easier than others. Most people, did okay with the beginning, but as you can see, as the list goes on, it gets a little harder. And what I can say is if you didn't really struggle with the beginning parts, I'm pretty sure 100% of the people here in this challenge are going to appreciate day for when we work on the sentences, the connected speech. I cannot wait to show you guys how to learn to say these sentences in a more natural way, okay? When it comes to linking words, when it comes to intonation, okay, it's gonna be great. So maybe what I'm gonna teach in this video and in this training and tomorrow's training, for those of you who did really, really well on the first part of the list, maybe it won't be as relevant, but still watch the video because I'm sure I will have tips for you that will be helpful. What else can I say about this? Okay, this is what I can say about it. I can say that this list was actually the easy list. Okay, what I did was I compiled a bunch of things that I know students struggle with, and I tried to make the list relatively easy. I didn't want to make it too hard because we can go really deep. We can talk about so many different things. But basically what we're going to work on through this list, what this list provides us with, is the ability to work on vowel sounds together, minimal pairs, and I'll explain that later on. The stop T, I will explain that later on. Silent letters, long words, and connected speech and intonation, okay? So I created a list that will allow us to work on all of these things just by studying these words. And remember what I said yesterday? Language repeats itself. There are patterns. So once you start learning some of these patterns, you're gonna be able to apply them to hundreds of words, thousands of sentences, okay? So this is why I like learning with lists like this because, well, first of all, I put them together. So it's not random. It might look random to you, but that's because I have not given you the second version of the list, which is the version that I will give you later on in the challenge, where I break stuff down and I group words together and I group things together to show you what you were working on without you even realizing that you were working on those things. Okay. So this was the easy list. Like I said, I have several lists that I've made because I'm getting ready for my course, as you guys know, the pronunciation and accent course. So I've been grouping lots of types of words, lots of types of sentences to figure out how I'm going to teach all of this stuff. This was kind of like the easy stuff. Okay. So you guys did good. You guys did really good. What else? What else? Oh, and also a list like this allows me to teach the most common mistakes. I don't know if I already mentioned that, but we're going to talk about that. Some students said yesterday, like, I really want to know the most common mistakes we make as English learners. You're going to learn a lot about that throughout this challenge. Okay, some people did really well, as I said, and don't need a lot of help with individual sounds. Some of you guys really, you knocked that out of the park. That was amazing. Again, you're going to love, though, the connected speech section that we do. And as I was watching the videos yesterday, I told Renzo, my husband, I was like, some of these are really good. Do these people really need help? You know, why are they here? And so this was actually really important, though. Something I realized is some of you have really phenomenal pronunciation. You really sound great in English. It's like, why are you here? What I realized is you lack confidence. So it's okay that you're here because this challenge will help you with that as well. But basically, we want to help you find confidence in your voice. First and foremost, have clear pronunciation, etc. But then you need to develop that confidence in your own voice so you can go out into the world and do the things that you want. Go to the interviews that you want, start the YouTube channel that you want, whatever it is, just have that confidence in your voice. So the other thing I realized from this, though, is that I believe the people who need the most help with their pronunciation did not make a video yet, because they are so scared, all right? Because I've worked with all kinds of students at all kinds of levels. I know what the high end is and I know what the low end is. And I was not seeing a lot of these low end videos, right? Okay, I don't know what else to call it. I apologize. But like from the people who really, really need the help. And here's what happens, okay? Because it's a community group environment. I create these for lots of courses that I run and stuff. What ends up happening is the students who struggle the most are the most intimidated, okay? They're just so scared of other people seeing them make mistakes. They look at the other students and they go, oh my gosh, these people are so good. They're so advanced. I'm not gonna make a video. I'm not gonna embarrass myself like that. Okay. But what you have to know is that in my courses, in my communities, we are all super supportive. Nobody's here to judge you and be like, whoa, yeah, you need to work on your pronunciation. I mean, yes, you're here. You're here for a reason. We're here to help you. So I don't want you to be afraid. I don't want you to compare yourself to other learners, because everybody's at a different level and everybody has different opportunities. Some students here live in the USA. Okay, and they've been living there for a while. And guess what I noticed? I noticed that the students who live in the USA tend to speak English more naturally. Why? Because they're constantly using the English with locals, hearing how the locals speak it, imitating the locals. Okay, that's not the case for everybody that lives in the USA. I get it. But a lot of students, that live in the US, they do speak a little bit more naturally. So you really can't compare yourself to other people. You just have to accept your journey and embrace the opportunity that you have today to practice and to learn. Okay, so for those of you who didn't make the video because you're too scared, you're comparing yourself to other people, etc., you're getting stuck in your own head. I even got messages, okay? I even got messages from people who were like, oh my gosh, Stephanie, I cannot do this. And it's like, I don't know what to say because I want to help you, but you have to help yourself, right? I promise when I make a course, when I make a challenge, something, there is a method to the madness, all right? And I promise the students who do the work, they get the results. And I don't know what else to promise, because that's what you're after, isn't it? So you have to do the work. You have to do it so that you can get the results, because if not, then it's like, no, I can't help you, because I can show you the path, but if you don't walk on it, you're not going to get anywhere. It's like this saying we have in English, right? You can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make him drink. That horse has to decide to drink water on its own. Okay, so enough of the pep talk. Let's move on. Like I said, I have a lot to get through, so I'm speaking very quickly. Okay. So some of you might be thinking that was an easy list, okay? But the reason why we start so basic and then get to more complicated is because there's no sense, and I think I said this yesterday, there's no sense teaching you guys connected speech and working on intonation if you still struggle with pronunciation. I want to set a goal out there for you guys, okay? For all of you, whether you're advanced, not advanced, whatever. Master every single sound in English. That is the goal, right? That is like step one, foundation, basics. If you still struggle making the B and the V sound and really differentiating them, or the E and the I sound, or if you roll your R when you speak English, okay? You're struggling with a basic sound that is part of the foundation of the spoken language, okay? So you really have to decide to work on it. I actually had a student recently in one of my other courses who made a video, and I pointed out that he was not correctly making the TH sound. And he said like, oh, I know, I struggle with this sound. And I was like, then why aren't you fixing it? All you have to do is go put your tongue between your teeth. It's impossible to mess up. If you do that, I guarantee you do that, you will make the sound. It is that simple. The reason people don't do it is two reasons. One, it's uncomfortable. They're not used to making it in their native language, so they stay in their comfort zone. And then two, maybe they're speaking spontaneously, and so they're not really forcing themselves to be aware of their mistakes. And you have to do that. You have to get out of your comfort zone, force yourself to be aware of your mistakes so you can start correcting them. And not allow yourself to just sort of like not think about it, okay? Because you won't make progress like that. The only person that can change your pronunciation is you. The only person that can control your mouth is you. So I can give you all the tips in the world. I can demonstrate everything. But if you do not require yourself to make changes, you're going to sound the same, okay? You're not going to make any changes. So I feel like I said enough with the pep talk, and I just keep pep talking through the whole class. Okay. It's because there's a lot to get through. All right. So, So yeah, the goal, one of your goals should be to learn how to make and master every single sound, every vowel sound, every type of vowel sound, because there's different types, the consonants, okay? And just really get control of your mouth. And don't be lazy. Don't think like, oh, that sound is hard, or I don't like it, it's awkward. All of these thoughts stop you from progressing, okay? You have to embrace it. You have to be like, ooh, that's an interesting sound. I need to work on that. I need to how do I do this? Like, open your mind, be curious about how to make it work, and then start playing with your vocal apparatus. And it won't come out the first time correctly. That's fine. Keep trying, have fun. Okay. How you think about the way you learn makes a huge impact on what you're able to achieve. Next. I can skip over some of this. Okay, so now let's talk about this. I'm about to give feedback, not just today, but tomorrow and the following day on these videos, right? So this right now is kind of like my big, long intro about feedback in general. I won't have to say all of this tomorrow, yay! So I'm getting through it today. But how in the world am I able to give feedback to hundreds, there's thousands of students in this group? How am I able to do that, right? Because a lot of students feel like, but I need individual feedback, Stephanie. I need a teacher to correct my mistakes, okay? Let me explain how this works, because it's actually really amazing. It's a really amazing methodology, okay, that I realized by doing group courses online. So first of all, as I said before, patterns emerge in the language. Patterns also emerge among students. Mistakes. I start hearing the same mistakes over and over and over and over again. That's how I know what I need to coach, what I need to work on with the students. And maybe not every mistake will apply to you, but a lot of them, I'm sure, will, and they will be helpful. So as I'm teaching and training, you have to sift through everything I'm saying and analyze yourself and go, does that apply to me? Oh no, I don't do that. Okay, good. Okay, but at the same time, you're learning that that is a mistake that people make, and that you should avoid that thing, or you should do it like this instead. Okay, or you're getting confirmation. You're like, oh, I don't make that mistake that she spent 5 minutes talking about. That's awesome. I'm so glad I don't make that mistake. Okay, so it's really exciting even when I'm talking about a mistake and you don't make it, right? Because you don't learn to fix anything, but at least you get confirmation that you don't make that mistake. So either when I'm giving feedback, you're getting confirmation that you're doing something right, okay? Or you're getting feedback and confirmation that you're doing something wrong and you need to improve it. All right, so either way it works. It's an amazing methodology. And the only way this is possible is because you guys are submitting the homework and I am able to watch. All right, I have to consume hundreds of these videos. And actually, I'll say I don't have to consume hundreds because I've been doing this for a long time. I've been watching hundreds of videos for the last several years. So at this point, in my mind, I'm really clear on the mistakes students make. I only have to watch a few videos to really, really get it, okay? But like I said, language repeats itself, patterns emerge. You might think your mistakes are super unique. They are not, okay? Language learners tend to make the same mistakes over and over and over again. So you don't necessarily need that individual teacher feedback. You just need the feedback. You need to know what you're doing wrong, and then you need to analyze your performance and spot your mistakes. And we'll talk more about that, okay? So, okay, so now, yes, let's talk a little bit about how to correct your own mistakes. We already talked about, okay, I went out of order on my notes. I already told you guys about the student who knew he was making the TH sound incorrectly. And then, he was like, oh yeah, I know I'm doing that wrong, right? And then he started fixing it. So you have to be analytical. You have to have the mindset that you can spot your own mistakes, okay? Because students are always needing approval from teachers, confirmation from teachers. And my goal for my students is to take you to a place where you don't need that, where you are an independent learner, you are proactive, you're able to hear different sounds, you're able to recognize what comes out of your mouth. Let me tell you guys something, okay? I love singing. And when I sing a song, I can hear when my voice is out of tune. Sometimes I just stop singing and I cough or I laugh and I go, yeah, I messed up there, okay? But that is self-correction. And we have the power and the ability to do that. I'm going to turn up my light a little bit because I feel like it's a little dull. Anyways, so it's about training your ear and it's about understanding what the goal is. This is why it's so important to have standards in English, because when you know what you're trying to achieve, then you're able to realize how far away you are from that or how close you are to that. So it is important to have standards. And this is why, people love, standard American accent, standard British accent. Yes, there are so many different American accents, okay? But there's also sort of like general American English, general British English, and that works. And people like having these standards because they want a way to measure their progress, right? And if we have 0 standards, how do you know if your intonation is good? How do you know if your pronunciation is good? How do you know if you need to elongate your vowels a little bit, right? Having standards is a very good thing. That is how I learned to speak like a native in Spanish, is because I was trying to achieve something, right? I had a standard in my mind. I was imitating specific people, their specific ways of speaking, and that is what allowed me to learn that way of speaking, okay? That said, as you guys know, I like playing around with accents. I like imitating other accents. That's also the goal. We want to get control of our mouth so that, hey, if you want to play around and have fun with your friends and pretend you're speaking in a British accent, you can totally do that, darling. Okay, I know that was awful. Please don't show that to anybody, but that's what I mean. It's like, it's just having fun with the language, okay? So, a lot of students think that the time they spend with the teacher one-on-one is the most valuable time, the most valuable thing they could possibly do for their English. And most of the time it's not, because they show up to class and they're like, okay, teacher, what am I going to work on today? And what do I need help with today? You need to get to a point where you know what you need to work on and you know how to work on it. So when you come to the teacher, you can say, hey, I know my TH sound is not sounding how it should. Can you please look at my tongue, my mouth, and like observe and tell me what you think I'm doing wrong so I can try to fix it, right? That's a much more collaborative learning style or process, and it works a lot better. So it's not about the time you spend one-on-one with the teacher. It's about the time you spend with yourself, working on the language yourself, okay? Or if we're talking about like conversation practice, which we're not because this is about pronunciation and accent, but if it's conversation practice, it's the amount of time you spend just conversing freely, okay? But with pronunciation and accent, okay, the most important time you spend improving all of this is the time you spend alone, just drilling sounds, going for a walk, when you're in the shower, whatever it is, driving to work, and just playing with your tongue, trying to make those sounds, work on supporting your voice, work on projecting, okay? Because those are the moments that will train your voice to perform well when it's actually time to talk, when it's time to give a meeting or answer a phone call or something like that, okay? All right. And by the way, when you start changing your mindset and learning like this and becoming more independent, you will learn a lot faster, way faster than just sort of relying on, teachers or a program or something like that, okay? Because then you're able to take whatever program you're studying and your own active learning at the same time. And if the program is good, and if you're an active learner, then it's just going to like blossom into this amazing results for you. Okay. Last thing with a teacher, again, we're often seeking approval, or we're seeking praise, or we're seeking confirmation. And it's always like, did I say it right? Did I make a mistake? Do you like the way that I speak? Okay, that puts you in a very, what is the word that I'm looking for? Like a lower position. That is not the word I'm looking for, but basically that, okay? And we want to take you out of that position and elevate you to where you don't need approval, okay? You don't need confirmation because you can get your own confirmation from within, knowing how to analyze your own mistakes. And you don't need praise, okay? Because you like your own voice. That is where we want to get you to. When you like your voice, when you like your accent, when you enjoy the way you communicate in English, you don't need praise from anybody, not native speakers, not teachers, not anything. You don't need confirmation. You don't need approval, because you're just like, yeah, man, I speak English. I like the way that I speak, and that is enough. So, all right. Let's get to some of my observations. How are we doing on time? We're doing okay. Could be doing better, but we're doing okay. So, my observations. So I said this earlier, people here are at different levels in their English. Okay, that's not necessarily bad or good. Hopefully the lighting is okay, because I feel like it keeps changing on my camera. Here, let me back that up. Let me put it over here. Okay. Everyone's at different levels. Everyone struggles with things a little bit differently. I already said people who live in the USA, I noticed, tend to sort of speak a little bit more naturally, make a little fewer mistakes, especially if they've been there for a while. And I can tell that they interact regularly with other people by the way that they speak. Here's a really interesting observation for you guys. I noticed that younger students, we have students here who are like 16 years old, okay? Younger students tend to sound more natural. And I think I know why this is. I think this is because of the way they learn languages. I'm all over social media. I know how young people use social media, okay? They consume loads of content, tons of content in English all day, every day. They're listening to music in English. They are watching series in English. And when they hear something, they're practicing it, they're imitating it. Okay, that is the best type of learning you could do. And that is why so many younger people in this group, they sound really good. You know, when I listen to them, I'm just like, wow, I'm proud of you. You've achieved a lot. Good job. You know, and a lot of these people are from places around the world where maybe they don't have the opportunity to necessarily go to some elite private training school or something, who knows. So I know, and I know because I know people like this in my personal life, they're doing this on their own. They're achieving this on their own. So it's just a testament of what you can do when you use the right methods, okay? Next. We talked about how some students, some of you have excellent pronunciation. I can already tell, but you're not confident, so we need to work on that. Here's something interesting. When you introduce yourself in your video, a lot of times your pronunciation sounds great, right? But then you start reading the list and it's like it falls apart. And it falls apart because this list is designed to pull out those parts of your pronunciation that are still not there yet. So anyhow, when you introduce yourself and you're like, hi, my name is Stephanie, I'm from California, I live in California, blah, 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 blah. First of all, these are sentences that you likely have a lot of practice saying. You've been introducing yourself in English classes for years, okay? So you know how to say these things, okay? And also, whatever your accent is, whatever your current way of speaking is, it balances out. And we're able to hear and understand well through context. So even if the pronunciation might be wrong or something like that, the ear doesn't pick up on it as easily because there's other words around helping your message make sense, okay? But once we isolate words or isolate short sentences or phrases, that's when those really glaring pronunciation issues tend to reveal themselves. And this is really important because it's like the difference between saying 15 and 50, okay? These two words are very easy to mess up. And, you know, if you are at work and people ask you for a number, a data point or something like that, and you say 50, but they hear 15 because of your pronunciation, that's not good. You don't want to have those kind of mistakes, especially in high stake moments, okay? Okay, next, another observation. Now we're gonna start getting to the actual stuff, some of the actual stuff you can actually work on. You can look at your video and you can ask yourself, did I do this? All right, so first of all, when a lot of people, when you're reading the list, I can see the amount of effort that you're making. Whoa, it's like not just mental effort, okay, to like get through the words, but physical effort, like the way you're straining your voice, your mouth, your lips, the way you're opening everything and your facial expression, everything, right? It's a lot of effort. Remember how I said yesterday, we want to help you relax, or you have to think about relaxing. I know it's difficult because this list of words is new for you, but by the end of the week, you will master it. And in your next video, I want you to practice, in your after video, I want you to practice feeling relaxed and looking relaxed and speaking in a relaxed way. So you're not like struggling like, oh, to get the words out, but you're just like saying them. And this word, and this word, and this word. And later on in the challenge, I'm going to read the entire list to you, and I'm going to show you guys how quickly I can read it, or different intonation patterns, or how relaxed my voice is when I just go through every single word. And I want you to use that as your model, okay? Okay, so you'll be able to see that. All right, so that's one thing. Lots of effort, exaggerated mouth movements. This is partly not your fault because a lot of times when teachers teach pronunciation, they really exaggerate the mouth movements. And this is a pet peeve of mine because students are really good at imitating. So if a teacher is exaggerating so you can like, quote, get it, then you're going to exaggerate and then you're going to look like you're trying too hard or you're going to look unnatural. You're definitely going to feel unnatural, okay? So we should not be exaggerating this stuff. It's all about relaxing, 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 okay? So no straining, relax. The effort that you put forth, it should really come from your diaphragm, okay? From supporting your voice, projecting, not from this part, okay? This part needs to be relaxed. So the effort shouldn't necessarily come from the mouth or the tongue, the vocal apparatus, okay? Too much effort. Do you ever feel like your mouth is tired after you speak English, all right? For like 5 minutes or an hour? I know a lot of you do. This comes because you're not relaxed. There's too much tension in your body. So you need to release this tension. And you can do this through mindset work, like just asking yourself, why am I so nervous right now? Relax. Tell yourself to relax. Tell yourself to calm down, okay? Or just go, rub your cheeks, jump up and down a little bit. Do something to sort of just like relax. Put on some fun music. Okay, and just work on relaxing your body and your mind because those two things work together to produce your sound, your voice, okay? So again, too much effort is gonna make your muscles feel tired after speaking English. I can do a live video like this and I'm not gonna feel tired after speaking, whether I'm speaking in Spanish or English or whatever, because it's not really my muscles that are working so hard up here, it's my diaphragm, okay? So, next I noticed that reading the list, some people were going through it pretty slow. Granted, a lot of these words are new for you and you were trying to figure out what is the best way to read this, okay? So I wanna help you speed things up this week. This is one of our goals, to speed things up. And I'll give you a quick example of this. Like a very unnatural slowing down. The word wine and vine, we're going to work on these later. But sometimes you were saying wine, vine. Okay, that is like you're taking a whole long time to say that word or those words, and you don't have to, because in English we don't say, I would like some wine. Okay, we say, I'd like some wine, right? Wine, wine. It's that fast. Wine, vine. Vine, okay? So as you're reading these words, I don't want you to think about making them long and drawing them out because nobody speaks like that. And the way we practice pronunciation needs to be the way that we actually speak because you're preparing yourself for when you speak, right? And if you speak like that, that is going to be something that slows you down. And it's frustrating to feel slow when you speak. A lot of times your mind is going faster than your mouth. So I want your mouth to be able to go the same speed as your mind. And so one of the things that's going to help with that is simply speeding up the rate at which you say a word, okay? And the other thing that'll help you speed up is connecting your words. And we will talk about that today with the stop T, but we're also going to talk about that a lot when we do the connected speech. Okay? So, I noticed inconsistent pronunciation patterns. So sometimes you use the British R, like butter, and sometimes you use the American R, like butter, okay? Or other words as well, vowel sounds especially inconsistent, okay? And so something you want to personally work on or have as a goal for your accent and for your pronunciation is consistency. Okay, consistency with all the sounds, choosing how you're going to sound and then making sure you're staying within those patterns. And that's important because not only will you feel better, you will feel those patterns as you speak, but other people will understand you so much more easily, okay? Because the human mind, as you guys know now, because I keep repeating it, loves patterns. So our brains start doing this pattern recognition thing when we hear other accents. And as long as an accent follows a specific pattern, it's easy to anticipate what a person's going to say or what they did say if we're not totally familiar with that accent. But if an accent has so many different or inconsistent patterns, I should say, it makes it a lot more difficult to follow, okay? So this will help people understand you more and it will help you feel more in control of your own voice. Next, Clear pronunciation, as I mentioned earlier, comes from a well-supported voice, diaphragm, correct placement of the tongue, lips, etc., okay, and correct airflow. So vocal placement is something that I like to talk about and teach, but it's really directly connected to airflow. The way you push the air out of your face, okay, or don't push it out of your face. The way the tongue might get in the way of that airflow, making it difficult for you to make the correct sound. So you have to know and learn how to push the air out of your face. And I say out of your face because it's going to come out of two places. It's going to come out of your nose and it's going to come out of your mouth. And making extremely slight changes to the way you push your air out can entirely change the way that you sound. It can make you sound more nasal or more clear, okay? It could make you sound like you have a cold or a clear, okay? So when you're not nasal at all, let me see if I can do this. So I'm going to try to not push any air out through my nose. And this is how we sound when we're sick, right? Because your nose is stuffed up with boogers, so you sound sick, okay? But then I can also bring my sound up here in my face to my nose, and now I sound a lot more nasal, and that doesn't sound very good either, right? Okay, and then because you have patterns of pushing air out of your face from your native language, right? In, let's say, Portuguese, you have more nasal vowels. If you take those vowel sounds and use them in English, you're going to insert nasal sounds into your speech as you're speaking. And so you have to learn how to undo that. English vowels do not sound like Portuguese vowels, and same for any language, right? There are differences. So you have to learn how to place that air and make that sound come out more naturally. So it sounds good because you can hear it. I know you can hear when something sounds off, and it might be frustrating because you're like, how do I fix this? Okay. Okay, couple more suggestions, then we're going to get to the word list. You guys are doing a really good job hanging in there with me, okay? So something else I noticed in the videos, sorry, I'm like, look, by the way, noticing in videos, and I see in my own video stuff that I want to fix. Okay, fidgeting. Do you know what that is? It's like moving around, playing with your hands, the nervous rock, etc. Okay, go look at your video. Were you swiveling in a chair? Were you like shaking? What were you doing? Or did you show up, present yourself in front of the camera, good posture, looking at it, and say, hey, this is my intro and this is the list? Because when you show up on camera, I honestly don't care if it's for a YouTube video or for a homework video in one of my courses or something. You need to really show up. Don't lay down in your bed. Don't, lay on the floor. Sit up or stand up or do something that says, I am being super intentional about what I'm doing right now. I am taking this seriously. I want to do a good job. I'm not you, because it's very hard to like put out your best effort and relax at the same time. What I'm doing right now is not relaxing. It's like the opposite. I'm going to relax after I make this video. When you do your homework, you shouldn't be relaxing. You should be showing up, having excellent posture, and remind yourself, relax, don't fidget, don't swivel. And if you tend to swivel, don't sit in a swivel chair. Don't sit in a chair that swivels, because then you will do it without realizing it. But go back to your video and look at it. How confident do you look? Are you doing things that are making you look unsure? Okay. And that can be leaning back. That can be posture, slumping over. That can be like hiding your face and trying not to be in the video. If you're going to put your face in the video, like really put your face in the video. If you're not, that's a completely different story. Does your voice sound supported, or does it sound kind of weak and quiet, like you're not really sure, right? So these are the things we can actually look at and visually see, oh, yeah, I need to improve that. I'm going to show up next time. So next time when you make your after video and go through this list, not only will you have practiced this entire list a lot with me, but you're going to have a different mindset, okay? And you're going to be knowing what you need to work on, and you're going to be able to correct a lot of your own mistakes without ever having a one-on-one personalized coaching session with a teacher, okay? Just by listening to what I'm saying and implementing it. So no fidgeting, no moving from side to side, okay? All of those things. Great, I made it through the first part. Congratulations to me. Okay. We can finally get to the list now. Just give me 1 second. Okay. The first thing we're going to work on our vowel sounds and the stop T. First, let's do the vowel sounds. I'm going to read through the B words that I wrote for you, and we're really going to get into the nitty-gritty of how these vowels sound because, hang on, when I was watching the videos, for a lot of you, there's like barely any difference between the vowel sounds of these words. And I have to say, when you pronounce them, there should be a big difference. To native speakers, non-native speakers who are proficient in English, etc., these are not the same. These words are not the same. They should not sound the same. The vowel sounds are completely distinct. And if you struggle with one of these sounds, and by the way, these are not all the vowel sounds in English. I didn't want to completely overwhelm you, but these are a lot of the ones that students struggle with. So we have to work on distinguishing them. Hearing the difference is the first step. I know a lot of you struggle to even hear the difference in English. So I'm going to try and help you with that today. And then after hearing the difference, okay, now it's time to imitate. Now it's time to show the difference, okay? So 1 second. I think I'm looking at my video and I get this stuff when I talk a lot. Sorry, it's kind of gross, but I get this stuff around the sides of my lips and I'm like, that's not attractive. So we need a break, mid-training break. Okay, just kidding. There's no time for a break. So here we go. I'm just going to read it quickly and then we'll go slowly. We have beat, bit, bet, but, bat, bought. Again, beat, bit, bet, but, bat, bought. But now, before I slow down, I actually want to tell you something. We need to talk about the stop T, okay? This T, the T in English, the actual letter has like 4 different pronunciations. And the stop T, or the held T, is one of them. Now, you will notice that a lot of times, okay, advanced speakers, native speakers of English, they don't pronounce the T. Pronouncing the T like that is called a true T. And if you do that every single time, it will slow you down in English. And remember, we want to help speed you up. So you don't have to say beat with a T at the end, okay? You can say beat, okay? He beat me. He beat me at the game. He beat me. Okay, it might sound weird, isolated, just saying beat, but when I put it into a sentence environment and say he beat me at the game, he beat me, I'm not saying he beat me, okay? I'm saying he beat me. Now, how do we make that stop T, okay? You don't even have to lift up your tongue here. You don't have to do that. You can keep your tongue totally down. He beat. See how my tongue is down? Because it happens in the back of your throat. You're closing off the air in the back of your throat really, really fast. This is something to practice because this lack of sound is like a sound or whatever, helps create sound or shape sound in English. And it is such a useful non-sound to learn how to make, okay? So he beat me, right? We have beat, sorry. When we have words individually like this, sometimes it's very easy to pronounce the sound at the end, but a lot of times we don't. So I'm gonna stick to the held T for a second. Beat, bit, bet, but, bat, bought. Okay, so there you were able to see that I held the T. I actually put it up and I didn't release it. And this is because I'm in presentation mode right now. It's like I'm trying to be super clear. So it's like my mouth almost wants to pronounce the T, even though I'm telling you, yeah, in regular day-to-day English, we often don't do it, okay? Because there's different ways of pronouncing words. There's like the full, complete pronunciation, and then there's but this is how people speak pronunciation, okay? So I want you to practice the held T, and maybe don't project as much. Maybe projecting is forcing me to try to overpronounce the word, okay? So here we have beat, bit, bet, but, bat, bought. Okay, and I structured these words, I don't know if you noticed, from front vowels to back vowels. So as you say the list of these B words, your jaw is dropping just a little bit, but you shouldn't even have to think about your jaw dropping, to be honest, because then you're going to be like, dropping it to unnatural levels. You want to listen to the sound and imitate the sound. To get the correct sound, your jaw will have to open up a certain amount, because I cannot say ah, like ah, without dropping my jaw. Like, it's impossible. To say ah, I have to have my jaw open a certain amount to even be able to say that word. So don't think about dropping your jaw necessarily. Think about imitating the correct sound. So the first sound is E. E. And you don't have to stretch your lips and go E. Okay, you don't have to do that. Okay, E, 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 E. Then we have I, I. Now from the front, this looks almost the same. What is happening? I'm lowering my tongue in the back, but you shouldn't have to think about lowering your tongue. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. You have to, again, listen to the sound and try and imitate the sound, because when you get the sound correct, okay, you will naturally like lower your tongue. Because how many of us can, I can't be like, lower your tongue in the back. And you go, okay. Like somebody could tell me, hey, Stephanie, lower your tongue in the back. And I'm like, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to lower my tongue in the back. What the heck? Okay. But if somebody makes a certain sound, somehow the brain is able to put it together and go, okay, it needs to sound like that. Listen and repeat. Listen and repeat. Singers learn the same way. Okay. They listen and repeat. So we have E, E, then we have I. Tongue is coming down in the back, even though you can't see it. And even though I don't know how I'm doing it, I'm just creating more space because I need to make this sound. I. Okay. Then we have Now for this one, you can see that my jaw did come down a little bit more because I need to make more space. Remember, we are going from more closed vowels to more open vowels. So as we're going down the list, the mouth is going to have to open to make these sounds correctly. Okay. Then we have Then we have Now this one is very open in the back of the throat. That is like one of the secrets to making this sound. Okay? I'm really feeling how my throat is opening for that. And then we have And for this one, I almost feel like I'm pushing my throat down a little bit to make that sound. Okay? So now I'm going to do these same sounds, but since we're training your ear, okay, I'm going to hold the sound a little bit. All right? So we have E. Then we have I. Then we have Then we have Then we have Then we have Okay? Awesome. So hopefully that helps. Beat, bit, bet, but, bat, bought. Just listen, repeat. And now actually let me do this. This is another strategy that helps. Okay, I'm going to repeat the word like a few times. Okay, beat, 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 beat. Bit, 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 bit. Bet, 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 bet. But, but. Bat, 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 bat. Bought. Okay, hopefully now you're starting to hear the difference, okay? Because remember, that's step one. Once you can hear the difference, then you can imitate it. All right, now let's go on to minimal pairs. And then tomorrow, we're going to do silent letters and long words. And when we do long words, we're going to talk about stress. We're going to talk about rhythm. We're going to talk about some intonation stuff. So anyways, but let's move on to minimal pairs. So what are minimal pairs? Minimal pairs are basically the same sounding word, but one thing has changed. One thing has changed. This is why all of these words rhyme, but you notice there was something different. And I picked words where there's one change, but it's a difficult change for lots of speakers. So first we have royal and loyal. Why did I pick this combination? Because so many students struggle with the R versus the L, okay? If you're one of these students, okay, you can work on these two words, royal, loyal, royal, loyal, royal, loyal, royal, loyal, royal, loyal. You can just work on that. And when you master royal and loyal, you're also going to master right and left, okay? Or, you know, words that have the R and the L. You don't need to practice necessarily hundreds of words like this. You just need to work with a couple and work on that until you get it super, super solid, because you're training your tongue essentially to make the sounds and to differentiate. Once you get it in those words, you'll be able to get it in other words as well, okay? So we have royal, and the ending is o. Compare that to how you made the ending. How did you make the ending? Okay. O. Okay. Roy, 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 Roy. Don't think too much about the R sound. Don't think too much about how to make it. Because yes, you do have to put your tongue up. It's like in the cavity in your mouth there, that big space, okay? The tongue goes there, and then the sides of the tongue go against your top teeth, like that, but then you stick your tongue up into there, okay? I have to get a lot closer to the camera for you to see this. Look. It looks awkward, but you'll get to a point where you can make this sound naturally and everything. It just won't be it's not very natural in the beginning when you start. So anyways, royal, royal. Don't think too much about how to do it. Listen, just listen and keep practicing until you hear yourself say the same thing. And then go, oh, I did it. How did I do that? And then practice it again, practice it again, practice it again. Okay. So you have royal, and then you have loyal. So tongue is behind the top teeth. Loyal, 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 loyal. Okay. Royal, 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 and loyal, royal, loyal. He was a royal, loyal king, or a loyal, royal king. Okay. This is also why I don't really use tongue twisters for students, because as you guys could see from this entire list, regular speaking is a tongue twister if you struggle with it. We don't need to make it more complicated. Good. The next set is tank, thank, sank. Now, all of these have the same A sound in them, okay? Tay, tay, tang. Okay, but then we have to bring it back for the N in the back. Tank. Notice this is not the sound here, okay? It's the back N. It's not tank like that. It's tang, back N. Did you know that you could make the N sound with the back of your tongue hitting the roof of your mouth? It does not have to be like no, 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 no. We can make the N sound in different ways. So this is another way. Back here. Tang, t, t, t. Okay, let's do the T. Tay, 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 okay? Tank, tank. Now, why does the N go to the back? Because the following letter is a K, and where do we make the K? In the back of the mouth. K, 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 k. So we have tank, k, 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 k. This is a huge secret, if you will, to speaking like a native and sounding natural, is that the tongue is always, always preparing itself for what comes next. So if the next sound is in the back, the sound prior is going to also be made sort of more in the back to prepare your mouth for what is coming next. So don't think that pronunciation is always this super structured, always a certain way type of thing. Okay, you really have to develop this intuitive nature with pronunciation where you listen and repeat, listen and repeat. Don't think, oh, but the N sound has to be made here, or this sound has to be made here, or like this, because sometimes there are slight changes or there are big changes, but you might not realize it if your mind is stuck in this, well, the N has to be here. Or I'll give you another really good example. The M sound has to close your mouth like this. The M sound. It doesn't. I can make the M sound like this. Okay, look. Okay, I know that looks weird, but I'm telling you this for the word comfortable. Okay, this has an M, but we're not pronouncing the M like comfortable because that's really difficult. So remember what I said, the mouth prepares itself for what's coming next. So we say because the next sound is the F, C-O-M-F, but it's too hard to do that. So we go comfortable, okay? So anyhow, we have tank, thank, sank. And the reason why I gave you these three is for the students who struggle with the T versus the TH versus the S, okay? So the T is t, t, t. The S is in the same position, but the sound is different. Instead of the tongue flapping down, we go s, s, like that, okay? So tank, thank, sank. It's almost a tongue twister because the tongue is in one position. Then you have to stick it out. Then you have to put it back in the other position, okay? But you can practice saying this and then speeding it up. Now, a lot of people, what they did on these is they would say something like tank, okay, which is more like British pronunciation. And then they would say thank and sank. The reason I grouped these together is because these have the same sound pattern. These are minimal pairs. So don't say tank, or I should say, so if you're going to say tank, maybe think about saying thank and sank as well. But if you're going to say think and sank, you should also say tank. This will help give your pronunciation some consistency, okay? Next, we have yet and jet. Now, a lot of people, when they said these two words, it sounded like yet and yet, like the exact same thing. These sounds are very different and they're made differently as well. So we have y. Check out how I'm making the Y sound, okay? Yet. Now, look very, very carefully at how I'm going to make this J sound. Look at how I start the sound. Okay? I'm opening my mouth a little bit extra so you can see. My tongue starts up there. But with the word yet, where does my tongue start? Okay? Hopefully this is quite obvious. You're able to see that when we say yet, okay, the tongue sort of spreads out and the sound comes from the back, yeah. But when we say the j sound, the tongue starts up here. J. Okay, it sounds weird because I'm opening my mouth to show you, but I'll make it sound normal in a second. Just look. J. Okay, it's hard to make this sound correctly by opening my mouth, but I need you to see where the tongue is placed so that you know it's different. So now you can look in a mirror and you can make these two words and practice going yet. See, there's no tongue right there. And then we have jet. So I'm almost making like the C, like this, how you make the CH sound in the beginning, right here. But then you're stopping the sound in the beginning. The sound starts with a stop, like you've blocked the air and then you release the air, okay? Whereas the Y, it's just, the air is flowing from the very beginning, yet. But with the j, okay, you're stopping the sound and then you're starting it, okay? Very, very important distinction. Great, so we have yet. Then we have jet. Yet, jet. Then we have choose, shoes. And this one as well sounded kind of like choose, or shoes. Okay, these two sounds are very, very different. So let's do this again. Let's get all up close in my face, okay? So look at how my teeth are. Now, sh. It's like the same thing, okay, but the sounds are different. And what's happening? With the sh sound, the SH, the sound just starts. Shh. Same thing with the yeah, okay? It just starts. But remember with the j sound, the sound starts with a stop, like the air is blocked first because the tongue is up here. The same thing happens with the CH. We say sorry, I just spit on my phone. Okay, these are like the worst possible angles of my face, but you have to see how the tongue is doing different things to make the different sounds. Because if not, if your tongue is just doing the same thing for the different sounds, it's not going to sound right and it's going to be very confusing for people. And it's like, no wonder they don't understand you. You're not differentiating your sounds. So you have to differentiate your sounds, okay? So we have choose. Remember the tongue starts up here. Choose. Just do this with me. Just do this. Then do this. It is different, okay? Okay, for example, how long can I hold each sound? This is a really great test. If we do the sh sound, I can hold it forever until I run out of air. Shh, because the air is just flowing. But if I do the ch sound, that's as long as the sound is, because that's the end of the sound. It's ch. It's not sh. Okay, that's not it. It's just ch, ch, ch. It's not that, like, that's it. Okay, hopefully I've made this clear. How are we doing on time? Oh my goodness. Oh man, we're gonna go over again today. I hope you guys are okay with that. I want you all to know this is the tip of the iceberg. Okay, this is why this challenge is free, because these are the basics. These are the things you need to know to be able to go deeper into pronunciation. Next, we have very and berry. Okay, very and berry. My goodness. Okay, so these ones are sometimes difficult for students to differentiate, but they're very, especially Spanish speakers. So Spanish speakers, listen up, okay? We have, so bottom lip goes to the top teeth. Everything is relaxed. Try it. Very, very good, very good, very good. And then, of course, you don't have to hold out the sound like very, okay? Then you just chop it off. Very, 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 very. It's about having your mouth in this placement when you start the word very, so it sounds correct. If you close your lips, you will say berry, and a berry is something you eat, okay? We do not say it's very good, okay? And a lot of Spanish speakers say berry instead of very, simply because they're closing their lips and changing the sound entirely, okay? So keep that in mind. You have to train your mouth. You can make lists of words that start with B, that start with V, and practice them. Another really good one for Spanish speakers is the word job, okay? At the end, they say job. I just got a new job, okay? It's not job, it's job. And you don't even have to release the B. You don't have to say job, because you can hold it just like you hold the T. You can say, I got a new job. Just close your mouth. I got a new job. And you will make that sound the correct sound instead of I got a new job. Okay? These subtle changes make a huge difference. Okay, next we have wine and vine. And this one was especially for Russian, Ukrainian, speakers, okay, because I know they struggle with this. Wine. Say the wine, sorry, the wine comes from the vine. The wine comes from the vine. Now, maybe it sounds a little similar to you, but we make it entirely differently. So as long as you force your mouth to make the right positions, you will automatically speak more correctly. Okay, so first of all, wine. How do we say this? You really do have to sort of like make your lips this small little circle when you start, okay? Wine, wine. So you start really small, but as soon as you start the w sound, it like opens up like really fast. It's not okay? No. Wine, wine, wine. So just practice that. Wine, 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 wine. Wine, okay? Never in my life do I ever say wine that many times and that fast, but I thought it would be fun. Okay, and then we have vine. So same thing here with very and berry, just vine. Have your lower lip here, you're touching your teeth, vine. That is a beautiful vine, and I cannot wait to make wine with the grapes on the vine, okay? So practice these. Then we have hair and air, okay? Because a lot of students struggle with the H sound, especially Italian speakers, okay? So they're the same word, but one has something in front. It's air. So hair has air in front. But it has to be quick. It can't be hair, okay? Hair, hair. You're like really just like pushing air quickly out of your throat to start the word. Hair, hair. Great hair. I like your hair. Nice hair. Okay, if I say air, it sounds totally different. Great air, Okay, we are stopping the airflow, first of all, and it just doesn't sound right. So great hair, great air, air. So air starts just on the sound. Air with the vocalization. Air, air. Hair does not start on the vocalization. It has a voiceless sound first, the H. There we go. Someone says the wine comes from the vine. That's divine. Yes. Woo! See, we don't need tongue twisters. We can just make normal sentences. Okay. And finally, we have year, year versus ear, ear. Now, ear, it starts, right, on just the E sound. Ear, my ear, 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 ear. Ear, ear. Now look at year. Okay, we have like a slide, we are like sliding into the sound, okay? Year, year, year. Now, yes, you have to exaggerate, slow down a little bit to learn how to correctly place everything and make the sound, but then you got to speed up because you don't want to say Happy New Year. You want to say Happy New Year, Happy New Year. And you don't want to say Happy New Ear, okay, because I don't know, people don't usually get new ears. That'd be kind of strange. Okay, so Happy New Year. Okay. OMG. Oh, I have one more thing. Okay, a couple more things to say. Thank you guys for hanging out, by the way, because I know our class is going over again, as it always does, because I have so much to say. So, why am I drilling these sounds? Why am I getting up and personal in my face, showing you my mouth, etc.? Because I want to open your mind and bring you awareness. Because when you are aware of something, that's when you can change it. If you don't know what you're doing wrong, if you don't know how you should be doing something, okay, you cannot change it. You cannot work on it. So awareness brings change. For example, the stop T. I have a task for you. This is not an official task of the challenge, but just a task for you to mentally do in your journey learning English. I want you to start listening for the stop T. Where do you hear it? Because it's everywhere. And a lot of students get mad when I make videos on social media demonstrating this sound and teaching it because they think like I'm just inventing something that's not used and I'm making it complicated. I'm not. The stop T and stop sounds are literally everywhere in English if you just are aware of it to notice it, right? And there's so much to notice when you're learning a new language that a lot goes over your head. So being aware of something gives you the ability to observe it, analyze it, practice it, change your own sounds. And I'm going to give you guys a sentence to practice the stop T, okay? This is a sentence I thought of yesterday when I was going to bed and I couldn't sleep because I was so excited about this class. I made a sentence with a bunch of stop T's. This is a sentence that you could totally say in real life, has a bunch of stop T's at the ends of words, okay? But before I tell you the sentence with the stop T's, I'm going to tell you the sentence with the true T's. And you'll see how many times I go t, 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 and you'll see how it slows me down. Listen. Matt saw a fat cat at the market where he bought that hat. So t, 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 t. It's like, whoa, so crazy. Now listen to this. Matt saw a fat cat at the market where he bought that hat. Doesn't that sound so much more natural? And I'm able to speak faster and I don't lose clarity, okay? The stop T is so awesome because it allows you to speak faster, control your voice, and, people are able to perceive and understand the T sound even though you're not releasing it. So again, Matt saw a fat cat at the market where he bought that hat. Okay, all of those are unreleased T's, okay? Matt saw a fat cat at the market where he bought that hat. Matt saw a fat cat at the market where he bought that hat. Now, as my jaw is opening and closing to make all these sounds, my tongue is staying totally relaxed. Remember when I was just doing the beat, bit, bet, etc., and I was projecting? I was having trouble in the very beginning It's like my tongue wanted to release the T because I'm demonstrating isolated words, right? And the sounds of words change when they're in environments, sentence environments. That's what they're called, sentence environments, okay? And the way the mouth responds, the way the mouth makes sounds, it changes. So I want you to practice this sentence, okay? You guys can write it down too, all right? Practice this sentence throughout the day and you will learn the stop T, I guarantee it. And just notice, just appreciate how my tongue doesn't even go up. It's like so effortless. It's so nice to be able to speak like this, okay? So Matt, okay, I'm gonna do it fast and then I'm gonna do it slow. Matt saw a fat cat at the market where he bought that hat. Matt saw a fat cat at the market where he bought that hat, okay? Matt saw a fat cat at the market where he bought that hat. And just write the sentence down and look at my mouth and see all those moments where I could have been saying, Matt saw a fat cat at the market where he bought that hat. All of those T's that I eliminated, I took out a sound from so many words in the sentence and it allows me to say it so much faster. Okay. And remember that there's a difference between saying ma and mat. Mat. You have to stop the sound in the back of your throat to make sure people can perceive it accurately. Because if you say, Ma saw a fat cat at the market where he bought that hat, and you're not really stopping the sound, it doesn't sound right. In fact, it sounds very so Matt saw a fat cat at the market where he bought that hat. Punch the words so that they end. Like punch them in the gut so it just takes the wind right out of them. You know when you get punched in the gut? Hopefully that doesn't happen to you very often. But you know when you get the wind knocked out of you, maybe you fall over or something, okay? And suddenly it's like you had air and then you have zero air. That's how you have to treat these words. You have to like punch them in the gut, take the air away from them immediately. If not, instead of saying Matt, you're going to say ma. And you're just going to sort of let the air drain out of it like a deflating balloon. And it's not going to sound good, okay? Okay. Are you guys liking this training? Yes? Let me know in the comments. I hope so. Probably should have asked that a long time ago, but here we are. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. Your homework, ladies and gentlemen. And after I tell you your homework, I'm going to take a few questions. I thought I would have time for more, but I don't. So tomorrow I will have more time for questions because I'm going to try and jump into the list as soon as possible. The silent letters and the long words, we'll get through those and then we'll do questions. Hopefully we will have at least half an hour because today in this video, I didn't just have the stuff to go over. I had all the like preliminary explanations, blah, 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 that I had to get through. So thank you for your patience. We will get to more questions throughout this challenge. We have 7 days, okay? We have time. So I'll be taking questions in a little bit, but your homework today is very simple. Watch the video. Most of you have already seen the video because you were hanging out with me here. And then I want you to practice your vowels, practice the stop T, and practice the minimal pairs. Go back and rewatch the parts of this video, okay, where I'm demonstrating everything. I'm giving you little exercises and just listen and imitate. Listen and imitate. Listen and imitate. Okay, I really want you to work on this because at the end of the 7 days, we're going to do your after video and I really want you to be able to see some improvements, okay? So, practice. Dun, dun, dun. Last thing. Oh, make sure each sound is clear and spend more time on the sounds you struggle to make. So if there's, you know, a word here, a few words that are really easy, don't even waste your time on that. Spend time on the parts that will make the most difference. Last thing I want to say before I take questions is, why do I talk so much? Oh my gosh, I've been talking nonstop for 1 hour and 14 minutes. And I actually have to physically stop myself from continuing. So I talk so much about this stuff, you guys, because I've got a lot to say. And as I keep saying, everything we're doing in this training, it's going to be 7 hours. It's a lot. Okay. This is all free stuff because I consider this to be the absolute very basics. This is just the tip of the iceberg. This is the stuff you really need to know to then have success on your own. And then after that, we can go deeper if we want. You can join one of my courses. We go even deeper. There's a lot to learn here. We're just going over some of the basics right now. Oh, and I have a lot to say about effective learning and effective teaching and what really works and what doesn't and this and that and how to teach yourself. I've got a lot to say about that, and I'm trying to give you as much as I can because likely you've been not using the best methodologies and you've been stuck, and that's why you're here. So it's like I want to tell you as much as I can, as much as I know, to set you up for success. Okay, so now I can relax. Just kidding. Do you guys have any questions? Someone says I'm on the waiting list of the daily English program. Awesome. Yeah, we're going to open that program up again probably in March. My goal is to open it 2 to 3 times a year. And then in November, we have the pronunciation and accent program, which is going to be like this challenge, but way, 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 way more complete, deeper, et cetera, with lots of training videos that go over lots of specific words, sentences. The connected speech that you guys got here in this list, these are like 5 little examples of connected speech. There's a lot of connected speech that happens in English, and I like teaching it this way through patterns because, as you guys know, it's going to be easier to learn. Okay. Someone asked if they can record day 1 today. Yes, you can still complete your homework. No problem. Someone says, thanks, I learned a lot with you today. Yay! Someone says, if you want to sound like a native, you must practice your pronunciation first and then fluency, or vice versa. I would say do both at the same time and don't expect to perfect one without working on the other, if that makes sense. It's like you have to speak to work on your pronunciation, but you also have to work what's the opposite? Whatever the opposite is, you have to do both. You have to work on your fluency, getting confident, conversations, etc. You can work on your pronunciation. While you work on your fluency, you can work on your pronunciation. Someone says, is the stop T only applied when it is the last letter of every word? No. Okay. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes we release the T. It depends. Like, do we want to really emphasize something like, but you don't have to do it that way always, like all the time. But see there, I did release it because I wanted to emphasize that word. So be really careful with rules in English. Like with the stop T, you always have to stop the T. You don't. Okay. I want you to be aware of different things so that if you feel like stopping the T, you can. But if you feel like releasing it, you can, right? And just know that doing it different ways serves different purposes. Holding the T allows you to speak faster. Releasing the T allows you to emphasize a word. So what do you want to do? Do you want to emphasize something or do you want to speak faster? Sometimes we need to speak faster. We want to speak faster. And other times we really want to emphasize a word. Do you see what I did there? Okay. Why do I sound Australian when using stop T's? I don't know, but that's not bad. Man, Australians have a really cool accent. I love the way they speak. Also, something we haven't talked about yet, and I wanted to talk about, is using specific accents as inspiration. Like be inspired by the American accent or the British accent or the Australian accent and take features from their accents, but don't always feel like you have to speak perfectly like an American. For those of you who are looking for like an in-between, we can be inspired by accents and like move in speaking in the direction of certain accents, but we don't have to like learn and do every feature of that accent. Okay, I'm going to scroll up a little bit. Francisco says, or Francesco, I can't wait for the full pronunciation course. This training is fantastic as I knew it would be. I'm already correcting some mistakes that I normally make. Yay! That is the most exciting part for me because man, it's so empowering when as a student, you can correct your own mistakes. You can hear your own mistakes. I was singing the other day and then I went totally out of tune and I was just laughing and I was like, okay. And then I fixed it and I sang the song perfectly and it was great because I didn't need somebody to correct me. Someone says, do you train teachers? I don't, but a lot of teachers do join my programs to improve themselves and to observe how I teach to then improve their teaching. So eventually I would love to, when I launch my podcast, I would love to make episodes for teachers specifically talking about how to improve their teaching and stuff. By the way, I want you guys to know, for those of you who don't know me that well or haven't been following me that long, I don't have a teaching credential, okay? I started myself as two things: a language learner, I learned Spanish, and two, a tutor and teacher when I was 18 years old. And I worked several years, and then I got my own private clients. And so everything that I do now when it comes to teaching, this is self-taught, okay? I just observe a lot of different things. I never went through a teaching credential program that said, you need to teach students like this. And I'm really glad that I didn't, because I don't like people telling me how I have to do something. I really like having the mind of a scientist and just looking at something and go, is this effective? Is this not effective? What's going to be more effective? How can we do this? And so my brain has not been like shaped in any way regarding how we should teach. And I think that's actually important for me personally, because if you look at the state of the teaching industry, I'm sorry, but there are some things that I think are quite horrifying. And I would not want to teach like that. Okay. How to deal with linguistic breakdowns, and thanks for the amazing lesson. Okay, I don't know what you mean by linguistic breakdowns. I would need a little bit further explanation there. Someone says, my basic problem is anxiety. How can I overcome it? Don't worry, we are going to talk more about anxiety later on. What's going on with the A in royal? Is it a schwa? Okay, this is something that I cannot wait to teach in depth in my pronunciation course. And I'll probably eventually make a video on YouTube about the schwa. I don't like the way people teach the schwa because it makes no sense. They say, oh, it can be like this, and it could be like that, it could be like this, and it could be like that. And I'm like, isn't it supposed to be like one sound? Why is this one sound making 5 different sounds? And truly, from my perspective, I think a lot of people don't know how to teach the schwa. What they do is they go online, they look up resources about how to teach the schwa or what the schwa is. They go to online dictionaries, and the dictionaries say, oh, here's the schwa. But when I go to online dictionaries, I don't look at the way the IPA is in the dictionary. First, I say the word, and then I look at the IPA. And not most times, a lot of the times I'm like, whoops, I don't say it like that, So if you're trying to speak like me, for example, and then you're going to use online dictionaries, just be really careful, because they have phonetic symbols that represent sounds in ways that I don't use them. So for example, royal, okay? Man, this is going to be a long explanation, actually. How can I shorten it? Basically, it's ol. The schwa, we're going to talk about that a little bit more in the long words, like pandemonium. D. That little sound there is a schwa, okay? But royal, o. Hear the difference? O versus o, okay? And if you guys download my IPA guide from my website, go to englishfulltime.com, download the guide. Okay, I meant to send it in the email yesterday. I will send it today. I talk about this sound, and I mark it as an O in my IPA guide. And my IPA guide is a little different than other IPA guides, and that's because I studied like every IPA guide I could find, and they all teach things slightly differently. And anyways, last thing I will say about the schwa is that they use it a little bit more at the ends of words in British English, but in American English, we tend to use the I sound, like focus on this lesson, focus, kiss. The word kiss doesn't have a schwa in it. It has the I sound. So when I say focus, I'm not saying focus, the schwa. I'm not saying that. I'm saying focus. But a lot of teachers online, you can go to their lessons and they will be teaching that words like focus have a schwa when they do not. Okay? So again, this is why I don't go to outside resources to learn how to teach English. I go within myself. I listen to myself. I listen to the way that I speak. I listen to the way other people speak, and then I compare everything. And then I figure out how to teach it. But I'm not basing it off of the dictionary. I'm not basing it off of a curriculum. I'm creating the curriculum. And sometimes I have to recreate the dictionary. Like when I talk to my students about words and how they're pronounced, I'll say in the dictionary, it's going to say it's like this, but that's not how I say it. And I just want you to know that I say it differently because you're going to go to the dictionary and then you're going to come to me and say, well, the IPA says this. Well, I don't say that. I don't speak like the dictionary. I speak like myself, right? So we can't necessarily think that the dictionary is like the God of English, which unfortunately a lot of people do. Okay. Let me see. Someone says, can you please teach us the other sound of T? Sometimes sounds like R. Yes, we are going to go over that in the Connected Speech Day. We're going to talk about the flap T, and that is also really important for speaking quickly. Someone says, I don't even finish to record my video and realized how important it is to stress the right words in the middle of the sentence. It sounds completely different. Yes. Someone said, you didn't tell me how to overcome the pauses is a lack of confidence because I find myself good with my confidence. Okay, I responded to that comment. I was asking about the pauses, but I don't think I got a response back. Okay, someone said, can you make a video or audio with all the words to practice with the right pronunciation, please? I probably will not make that for this live version of the challenge, but I'm thinking of moving the content from this challenge, we will see, into a private course area. We will see, I don't know. And if I do that, then yes, I'll record the audios and I'll upload them there. But for now, you can just work with this content. But perks of joining the course later is you will have audio files for everything, for practicing each individual word, groups of words, sentences, sounds, etc. It's just like that's a different level of work involved. So we're trying to keep things pretty basic here. Natalia says, IPA is just a pattern. The way Stefanie speaks is a reference. People from other places in the USA speak differently also. So we have to practice even from IPA or from teachers and the way they talk, but awareness that daily life is completely different. Yes. And remember, when you have one model or a few models who all speak the same way, then it's even easier to acquire the sounds that you want to acquire. Because since people do speak differently, if you're trying to learn from different people who all speak differently, it's going to get quite confusing quite fast. And the faster you can develop your speaking patterns, the easier it will be to speak English. Someone says, how will we know when you launch a course for teachers in pronunciation? The way you explain pronunciation is just mind-blowing. Thank you. I don't plan on launching a course for teachers to like teach teachers how to teach pronunciation. My focus is on learners specifically. So if teachers want to learn from me, they would have to join the courses and just observe how I teach, take notes, and then apply what I do to their own programs and their own classes. Someone says, when you're in a conversation and you suddenly can't talk, all the words just gone. This is a linguistic breakdown. Okay. This is actually, unfortunately, not something we talk about in this course. That could be a variety of things. This course is really focused, this free, challenge is focused really on pronunciation and accent and voice. And that is not an issue related to this. And I really want to keep the content here focused on this stuff. But if anybody has any ideas, you guys can jump in and answer his question. Someone says the schwa is the most pronounced vowel sound in English. Yes, it's everywhere. Someone says we need a challenge for grammar practices. Yeah, I know, right? Oh my goodness, we need a challenge for everything. Okay. Sorry. I think there's a couple more. I have a couple more questions here that my assistant sent me in my chat. So I will go over these and then we will wrap it up. Cool. So somebody had asked earlier in this video, should I look how to pronounce words I didn't know how? It depends. So I didn't really give you guys instructions for the homework because I figured if you're going to look it up, you're going to look it up. And if you're not, you're not. Like, that's actually up to you. You can do what you want. But in real life, yes, you do need to look up words that are new for you, and you need to question whether the words you are already saying, you're saying them correctly. Because a lot of times students think they're speaking totally correctly, and they're not. And this is why I've included a section on silent letters, because I'm hoping that this will really bring to everyone's attention just how often they assume they're saying something correctly when they're not. And unfortunately, we're dealing with a language here that is not phonetic. So you cannot rely on how you read English. You really have to train your ears. Okay, Clayson says, Stephanie, besides your complete program of pronunciation, do you recommend any app or website to help us improve our pronunciation? I recommend finding content that you can shadow, okay? So listening to content, slowing it down, even songs. Songs can work really great for this as well. And then listening, slowing it down, and then trying to repeat it exactly as you hear it. So you don't necessarily need training per se that's like specific to pronunciation, but you just need really good content that you can listen to and shadow. But of course, just be careful, because if you're shadowing, like, for example, a news reporters don't speak in a normal way. They speak in a way that is like you're watching the news. Like, today, breaking news, we have from California. I don't know how they talk, but just be careful, like, the material you choose, I guess I should say. Okay, so Ahmed asked earlier, I want to ask how I can correctly pronounce a new word to me that I have never seen. Go to Youglish. Oh, speaking of websites, I recommend Youglish, okay? Go to Youglish. I even use Youglish to see how people pronounce different words, because sometimes there are slightly different pronunciations for different words, but you can go there and you can see how actual people pronounce it. I don't recommend using the dictionary or online dictionaries because they always sound so robotic. And plus, on Youglish, you can hear the words in context, okay? So that's what I recommend. Someone says, is speaking with natives the only way to practice our pronunciation? Not at all. In fact, when you speak with natives, you're not often focused on pronunciation because you're having a conversation. You should be talking about something, right? So I believe in practicing pronunciation and vocal work separately. And then when you're speaking with a native, that's like the performance. That's where you get to showcase all the work that you did by yourself. Okay, someone says, is hearing people talk in YouTube videos can be helpful to understand fluent and fast-speaking people? It depends what kind of videos you're watching, because if it's like English ESL videos, a lot of times the teachers speak very slowly. They over-exaggerate their pronunciation to a point where it's like not natural. But if you're watching vloggers, stuff like that, heck yeah, that's a really great way to train your ear, to shadow people. But also, you will see, as you develop your ear, you will see that people really truly pronounce things in so many different ways. This is why it's so important for you to develop your voice in English, your pronunciation, your accent, and choosing how you want to sound, okay? Because, I mean, a guy from Texas ain't gonna sound like me, okay? So it's all different. Okay, so yeah, I think I did those questions. Yes, Youglish is amazing, someone says. Great. All right, let me see. Thank you guys for helping out in the comments and answering each other's questions too. That's always really helpful. Someone said, is it difficult for native speakers to understand some accents, for example, the Texas accent? I would say, generally speaking, probably not really, but it really depends on the individual, okay? When my husband came to California for the first time and met my brother-in-law, he could not understand him. He was always just like, hi, I don't understand a word you're saying, because my brother-in-law mumbles a lot when he speaks. So we technically have the same accent, but we do not have the same speaking habits, okay? So I tend to speak in a very clear way, and he speaks in an unclear way, where you have to truly be accustomed to his way of speaking to get it. Or yes, a native speaker that has grown up in the US all your life. So when people mumble, you're like, I get it, right? Someone says, do you have a tip on how to increase confidence when speaking? Yeah, we're going to talk about that later on in the challenge. So I'm going to let you guys go because it's been an hour and 35 minutes and my brain needs a break. You guys have been really awesome. So thank you. Tell your friends about the challenge, please, because exciting news. I decided to set this up so that people can go through the challenge even after we finish, okay? Because I feel like the content here is too good to just lock away and hide. So I'm setting it up. I'm arranging the emails so that students can join a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, and they can come into this group. They can see the videos. They're going to get the daily emails. Here's the task. Here's the video. Here's the link. Go watch it. So tell your friends about the challenge if you think it's helpful, if you think it would help them. I would love that. We have so much more to get through, you guys. So tomorrow we're going to talk about silent letters and long words. The following day we're going to talk, and we'll talk about like stress, rhythm, the schwa, stuff like that. The following day we're going to work on fast speech, okay, connected speech, intonation. And then I just have a lot more stuff for you guys coming through the week. So don't worry about what's happening every single day. Just show up. You just have one video and one task a day. And hopefully that's manageable. And your task today is just very simple. I just want you to practice the words we worked on in this video. Okay? Someone asked about the daily English program. Do you think it's going to open new enrollments? We just launched the daily English program like a couple weeks ago. So I'm going to have those students probably go through it and finish the program before we let in new students. I can always let you know if we open it up early, but I don't know. We will keep you guys informed. Okay, cool. I love you guys. I love working with you. I love helping you. I hope today was very insightful for you. And just believe in yourself, be confident because you're going places, okay? And it's all in your head. Your mind is so awesome. You can control your thoughts. You can change your thoughts if you have had thoughts that have been holding you back. It's time to let go of those, all right? And decide who you're going to be and how you're going to use English to just be happy and go after things in your life that you want. And you can control your mouth, all right? You can control your voice. You can train it. All of this stuff is totally doable. So play around, get a mirror, look at yourself saying the words, have fun. And I will see you tomorrow. All right, thanks guys, bye.